In the heart of Lagos, where the skyline glitters with glass towers and the pulse of commerce never sleeps, lives Prosper Okoro, a titan of industry. His fortune built on steel mills and tech startups. He commands boardrooms at dawn and attends galas by dusk. Yet behind the tailored suits and gleaming cufflinks lies a man restless with unseen longing. Each morning he stands on his high-rise balcony, gazing across the restless city below, wondering if wealth alone can ever fill the emptiness in his soul. He remembers his childhood in a modest household, his mother's warm laughter, his father's stern pride. But those memories feel distant now. Prosper believes that if he can find the spark of inspiration beyond balance sheets, he might finally quell the ache in his heart. And so a whisper reaches his ears. There's a street poet whose words move crowds like magic. Down in the thrumming lanes beneath Prosper's tower, the real city breathes. Bustling markets, rickety stalls, and the scent of grilled fish mingling with honking horns. Here, Adanna Nneka stands atop a battered crate, her dark brown skin gleaming in the noon sun. With nothing but her voice, she recites poems that sing of hope and heartbreak, of impossible dreams born in dirt-strewn alleys. Passers-by stop, coins clatter into her tin cup, and for a moment the bustle stills. Then, as quickly as she came, she vanishes into a tangled web of side streets, her braided hair bouncing behind her. No one knows where she lives or even her real name, only that when she speaks, the city listens. Determined to uncover this mystery, Prosper sends his driver racing through the narrow streets. The car weaves past hawkers and street vendors until it halts before a small crowd. There she is, Adanna, gathering her few belongings. Prosper steps forward, extending a crisp business card. His voice is warm but commanding. I'd like you to work for me. Adanna's eyes flash with surprise. Coins still clatter in her cup as she accepts the card, curiosity flickering behind her guarded expression. In the sleek boardroom of Okoro Industries, executives exchange whispered bets. Adanna stands at the head of the table, clutching Prosper's contract. He offers her the title of creative advisor, responsible for speeches, slogans, and the public face of his empire. She looks around at the expensive chairs and shiny microphones, then back at the single pen in her hand. With a deep breath, she signs. In that moment, the poet of the street steps into a world of power she's never known. It takes only days for Adanna's words to work their magic. A new tagline for Prosper's Energy initiative goes viral. Stock prices rally. Journalists clamor to uncover the mysterious poet behind the tycoon. But Adanna remains elusive. Late at night, she sits in Prosper's office, leather notebook open, pen moving like a dancer across the page. Outside, the city lights blink in approval. Prosper watches her, all mingling with gratitude. Never before has he seen such raw talent harnessed to a cause. As projects succeed, Prosper and Adanna spend long evenings strategizing. Under the glow of a single desk lamp, he shares childhood regrets, lost opportunities, a fractured family. She responds with tales of ancient folk tales, her voice weaving images of legendary queens and forgotten heroes. In that exchange, a bond forms. She sees in him the yearning for purpose. He finds in her the compass he's been searching for. Not everyone welcomes this new dynamic. Maxine, Prosper's longtime counsel, watches Adanna with narrowed eyes. Where Adanna brings fresh energy, Maxine fears her own influence slipping away. Behind closed doors, Maxine conspires with other executives, rumors to sow doubt, questions about the poet's credentials. But for now, Prosper remains blinded by success and his growing admiration for Adanna. Then, in a heartbeat, everything trembles. A sudden crash in global markets sends Prosper's empire reeling. Factories halt production, investors sell off shares, headlines scream of a fallen titan. In his penthouse office, Prosper stands frozen as numbers on his screen tumble into the red. Adanna bursts in, concern etched across her face. Without hesitation, she places a steadying hand on his arm. "We can turn this around," she whispers. That very night, Adanna writes an open letter in verse. She speaks of resilience, shared sacrifice, and the promise of renewal. By morning, her words have spread across social feeds like wildfire. Across Lagos, people clutch printed copies, reciting the lines from memory. Morale shifts, trust returns, and Okoro Industries begins to steady. Prosper rereads her poem, tears pricking his eyes at the power of her simple, honest truth. A high-ranking minister arrives, courting Prosper's support for a sweeping national bill. It's a tempting offer, greater influence, a seat at the table of power. But Adanna senses something darker, veiled threats behind polite smiles. She watches the minister's ring, bearing a royal crest, and wonders if politics always demands a hidden price. That night, Adanna's sleep is restless. Visions unfurl before her, a golden throne carved with intricate patterns, distant voices chanting her name. When dawn comes, her forehead is damp and her heart pounds with questions she can't answer. She reaches for the carved wooden amulet at her bedside, the only link to these haunting images. Driven by impulse, Adanna slips away to a hidden archive of pre-colonial history. Rows of dusty scrolls and faded manuscripts whisper secrets of a kingdom called Azania. An elderly librarian shows her a sealed chest. Inside, she finds a prophecy. The poet of the people shall reclaim the crown. Beside it, a crest identical to her amulet. Her breath catches. Leafing through brittle pages, she reads of a princess lost to time. The prophecy, the seal, her amulet, they all point to her. She staggers back, clutching the chest's lid. Could she truly be of royal blood? Trembling, she pockets a fragment of the prophecy and hurries back to Prosper, mind racing with wonder and fear. Prosper listens in stunned silence as Adanna recounts her discovery. Then, ever the visionary, he agrees to fund an expedition to the highlands where Azania once stood. At dawn, they board a rugged jeep, cutting through mist-shrouded passes. Local guides share whispered legends of a lost capital buried beneath vines and thyme. Deep in the highlands, they stumble upon overgrown stone pillars etched with lines of song. Adanna steps into the silent courtyard and recites one of her poems. Her voice echoes among the ruins, stirring something ancient. Symbols on the pillars glow faintly under her words, affirming that her destiny has awakened. But their discovery has not gone unnoticed. Cloaked operatives, descendants of the usurper who stole Azania's throne, emerge from the shadows. In the crumbling temple, a skirmish erupts. Prosper shields Adanna, gun drawn. She grips her amulet, its glow repelling their attackers long enough for them to flee back to the jeep. Safe at camp, Adanna's amulet flares with ethereal light. Ghostly silhouettes of royal ancestors materialize in the darkness, their voices murmuring ancient blessings. Through tears, Adanna embraces her truth. She is the lost princess, heir to a forgotten kingdom. Prosper kneels before her, his loyalty transformed into an oath of protection. By the flickering campfire, Prosper places his hand over his heart and pledges himself to her cause. I will fight for your throne as I would my own, he promises. Adanna lifts her chin, regal despite her humble beginnings. Together, they vow to restore Azania's legacy and bring justice to its people. Back in Lagos, they launch a peaceful movement. Adanna's poetry rallies crowds in the streets, while Prosper unveils documents exposing the minister's corruption. Mass rallies, social media campaigns, and heartfelt speeches sweep the nation. Even Maxine, confronted with undeniable truth, finds herself powerless beneath the tide of popular support. Under a sky streaked with fireworks, a majestic ceremony unfolds at Lagos Harbor. Traditional drummers herald the return of the true queen. Draped in regal robes woven with ancestral patterns, Adanna ascends the throne. Prosper stands at her side, not as a tycoon, but as her most devoted ally. Her first decree calls for unity. Let Azania's light guide us forward. And so, from street poet to sovereign, Adanna Nneka begins her reign. Proof that destiny finds us in the most unexpected places.